Hey everybody, it's Leroy from Leroy Gaming, and in today's Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader video, we're gonna teach you how to effectively chart the Koronus Expanse. We're gonna start by giving you a little bit more of an in-depth tutorial of the Insight system and how movement on the universe map works. But then I'm gonna do a quick fast forward a little further into Act 2, where I'm gonna show you kind of what my map looks like and give you some tips on how to kind of min-max the use of your very limited resources when it comes to exploration. Now, if you find this video helpful, please drop a like. If you want to help me get this video out to more people, the algorithm loves it when people drop comments. So if you have any feedback or questions about the system, make sure to drop them below and I will do my best to answer them. Of course, if you want to see more RPG and specifically Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader content, make sure to subscribe as well. All right, now without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this system without a transition. So, this is what you're going to look like the very first time you get access to the map. A giant map. I'm not going to scroll over the entire thing, but it's big. And it's going to basically allow you to click this button to chart new routes. Anytime you finish exploring a new area, you're going to get this option. And this is what the initial setup looks like. Now, what do you need to know here? Number one is every single pathway has one of four difficulties: green, yellow, orange, and red. Now, anytime you travel a green pathway, there is no danger. Nothing bad will happen. And then incrementally more, there's a higher chance of something happening when you go on to different colors. Now, I will point this out. You utilize a system called Navigators Insight in order to make these lower difficulties. So green is the best. If you go ahead and click on a yellow, you can spend one to get it down to the safe zone green. Or you could even, for example, take this red one, get it down to orange. And if you had more than one Navigator Insight, you could drop it to yellow or green. Now, how do you get these insights? You're basically gonna get them in two different ways for the most part. Anytime you fully explore a system, so if you go to this Soto's Tomb area and fully explore the system, you're going to get one insight in general. Now, there may also be events, either on planets or when you travel, and we'll talk about that in just a second, that gain you extra insight. Now, exploring the systems and doing those events is one thing, but here's a reason why you may not always necessarily want to have just green paths. When you have a yellow path, I have found from a lot of experience that more often than not, your trip will be safe. It can sometimes proc a mildly negative event, but it will also sometimes give you special events that if you pass a skill check, you can get big boosts of insight. I've had like 6 or 8 insight that I've gotten in a single search. So this is why yellow is not always bad. Now I will say orange is quite a bit bigger of a risk. Some negative things can definitely happen. And I try to minimize my traversal on orange paths, and reds are really, really high risk. Chances are something bad is definitely going to happen. You could take a lot of damage to your ship. You could literally get attacked where you have to do kind of a defensive encounter on your ship, or a variety of other events that I will not spoil. Now, a little bonus tip, stay away from this Imperium. This is a red herring. If you waste time coming here, basically all that can happen is an event that if you don't leave it, you're just gonna die and you have to reload. So especially early on, just leave this far alone. So as an example here, what you probably want to do is go to Soto's Tomb, explore it, get that extra insight. You can come back for free. And then, for example, because this is kind of a bit of a dead end here, you may want to go to Trinitos. I could right now, for example, spend 1 to make it yellow. But you could, again, if you had gotten that extra insight from exploring Soto's Tomb, you can get this to green as well if you wanted to. So that's the basis here. Now, let's go ahead and fast forward and I can show you how things look like. All right, here we are, and we are on a different save of mine quite a bit in the future. And so now you're going to notice I've explored quite a bit. You're going to see a lot more connections. I'm going to just give you a quick preview of kind of zooming up to kind of show you just how many different connections there are. It's tremendous. And it goes all the way to the left a bunch and also to the right some as well. This is still only Act 2, so there's a lot more to explore later on. But what do I want to basically point out here? So within the storyline, without going into spoilers, you're going to find certain colonies. And what I have found to be very efficient, because you're never going to have enough insight to explore everything to green level. I have 8 here, 8 insight, because I had an event that gave me a ton of insight. Again, no spoilers, but it is possible. I think at one point, I think I had 15 or 18 of this. So I have a good amount of surplus right now, but you're not going to be like this most of the time. So you want to be careful. And what I normally recommend is you're going to notice there's going to be clear paths to areas you're going to visit a lot, mainly your colony planets. So for example, you'll notice up north here is Janus. This is what your first colony you're going to expand to. And you will most likely have numerous trips between Janus. Potentially you might go back to Footfall and other locations, like up here is Koronus. And what I recommend is having the most direct path, making it green. So you'll notice this path here jumps up. I made sure this was green. Up to here is green. And again, I have a path around the left that directly gets me to this location. I made that all green. Also going west to another location here, Kiavagama, another colony. All of those are green. Now notice, in the majority of cases, not always, the off the beaten path areas I keep yellow or orange. I will never traverse to an area when it's red. If I'm absolutely desperate to get to a location, I will travel it via orange, but normally I want yellow. Also be careful, don't waste insight on double dipping on pathways. So to get to this location here, Latoida's Passage, you can get there from Munos Nullius or from Muro 79. This was orange and this was orange originally. I only cleared one path, made it orange here, but again, or yellow here. It'd be totally wasteful if you wasted insight to make this part orange, or yellow rather. Also note, if it's off the beaten path like this, where I may only go there once, I'm not going to make it green. I'm not going to waste that resource. Now here, technically, if I find myself heading down this direction more, I could start clearing the path. But in this case, you'll notice the majority of the path down here, I only went there once really. I haven't had any current reasons to go there yet. So I kept it yellow. But the main paths traversing between the colonies, I made sure there's always a full green path. So those are my recommendations. If you get to a point where you have excess insight, like I do, you could, use them a little bit more. But again, I don't know how much more it's going to be expanding. So having a surplus of insight is always very helpful. And so there's everything you need to know when it comes to effectively traversing the Koronus Expanse. As a quick TLD view, I guess, big things you need to know is that the Navigators Insight is a limited resource. You're going to get a small amount of it just exploring systems, but there's going to be events within planets potentially, and also when traversing between planets, as long as there's some risk, meaning at least yellow, they could proc certain events that will also give you insight. So again, for beaten paths you're going to repeat numerous times, I recommend getting them down to green. Areas that maybe you only situationally visit, I don't mind making them yellow. And then orange is mainly if there are paths that double dip. So again, there's numerous ways to go here to here. Why would you waste making this path lower? And again, highly recommend against going down red paths. Just really, really bad things can happen. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe. Let me know your questions or comments below, and I'll make sure to review those and respond as best as I can. Thank you for all the support, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.